All right, Meow. We're here at the Accelerating the Meta Talk. It is time to roll. How do you want to kick this off?
Yeah, sure. I think what I could do is to just go through a presentation, right? And then everyone can just ask questions. Just a quick intro for people who don't know Jupiter that well, right? So Jupiter is currently the most used DEX platform across auctions, and it's really cool, right? Yeah,
That's
awesome.
pretty great.
Yeah, pretty great. Q1 we did 78 billion on spot volume, facilitated 31 billion post volume, and also 3 million wallets. And we also have a really comprehensive asset that's from Swap, Lima, DCA, DA, and Perps and Launchpad. So if you actually haven't used it before, you can give it a shot. Yeah, I think some of the highlights, I think Matisse is obviously our key thing. We have the most powerful and fastest short identify. With Launchpad, this is the first end-to-end community-driven and decentralized on the history. It's actually really cool because they have all these crazy discussions up and down, and we don't really know what's gonna happen and stuff.
Right.
But what's actually really, really cool is that we all get together, right? After every launch and thing, just talk about what worked, what didn't work, try to improve together. So everyone who actually use Solana one way or the other, right? All the wallets, or whether your wallet or that or a DeFi application or Oracle, you can't use Jupiter one way or the other. Right? And that's actually just one of the best things about Jupiter, I think. We're also one of the most active DAOs in crypto, if not the most, with 270k voters, with very high participation, and also very active debate, and also robust value. So I feel like one of the things actually I really, really love, right? Especially in the last week's CW session, right? Whereby obviously there was a ton of debate about CWG.
Yeah, that was itself I think it was a useful thing because it was an experiment. It was the first work group budget coming up, and the community really stood up and then made their voices heard there as well, and improved it for everybody, including the Uplink working group and others coming through.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting because I feel like from the outside, right, it looks like a lot of contention and debate and disagreement, right? But I think it's amazing because I think for the first time we all came together to think about hey, what do we want as a community? What's important? What's the work group even?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's funny because I think I've been talking about work groups for a very long time.
That's right.
Right before the Jupe launch, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of no one really there wasn't that level of debate or understanding, right? I think the moment that work group launched, they'll be like, oh, this is what it's about.
Yeah.
Right? So it means and stuff, right?
In general, it's communities are not defined by consensus, right?
And also, I feel like we have a rare chance now, right? And then if you're listening right now, whether you're watching later or now, on Discord or Twitter or anywhere, I feel like we have a chance here to build a community that learns. That's rare, I mean, it's hard to find an individual that learns, right?
That's right.
And if you have a community that learns, right, I think it's actually awesome, right?
Yeah.
And that will actually be one of the communities that learn as a community, right? And that's so great, right? I mean, how many protocols or even communities or even L1s, have a community that learns together, right? And because of the rapid DAO voting process, right? There's new votes every week, right? And we get to see the result of that every week and stuff. It's really awesome, right? Because we get to actually see and learn and reflect together, right? It's actually really cool, I think, Yeah, and also I also really feel awesome because I feel like our community actually listens to each other, and then themselves, they go, hey, this worked, that didn't work. Maybe we can do better next time, right? So it's a big departure from the death do something culture, right?
Yeah.
And then I'll say, no, we are powered by a community of cats. I think users will really help us improve the product. With the DAO, which I mentioned, the team who actually works really, really hard, right? Really, really hard. And work groups, really talented community leaders who actually work really hard to make it work. And also obviously our amazing cadets. I believe that our cadets are the most helpful, positive, forward-looking, core community crypto. And we go through this, right? Because I think it's a good overview of what has happened, over the last quarter. So much happened, right? In the last 2 or 3 months, right? Fucking amazing.